Hi everybody, Alvina Usher, your Ottawa real estate expert, is here. I'm here with Tim McCarroll from Simply Mortgages. I ask you about the insights for 2025.
Yeah,
Will
the
we get
inside scoop, right?
I know. Like you probably know something that we don't
I know a couple of things. I can share definitely with the audience. For sure.
Please.
First off, one, you got to be very careful with this whole tariff tax coming in. That's going to be really interesting to see what's going to actually happen with the Canadian dollar. It's going to also happen in the fact that a lot of people are possibly looking at moving away from Canada just because obviously the economy suffers from it. There's going to be a lot of different conversations happening. Even Mr. Wonderful, obviously, if everybody knows from Shark Tank, he's definitely taking the reins and talking about how Canada should join the U.S. It's the 51st state. There's a lot of conversation about this kind of stuff. So it's really interesting to see where we're going to go from here. The biggest information right now, we have two rate announcements coming up in a very, very short period of time. We have one actually happening at the end of January 29th. We don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. Now, the job numbers did come out good for December, but the most educated people know that those were all seasonal, part-time jobs. Obviously, I'm not sure if you know this, but the actual jobs that came out, more than 80%, I think at least for sure 60, were all in the public sector, which means the government has put a huge halt on hiring, which again means the fact that there's an election coming around the corner. The fact that the Liberal government's trying to tighten up because they know the Conservatives are on their coattails, right? That's a big thing too as well. Another big thing is obviously what's happening with the Canadian government. I'll go back really quickly to the interest rate. So January 29th is the next rate announcement. After that is actually in March. We skip all of February. So, I mean, we just don't know exactly what things are going to go. A lot of things are up in the air. But I can tell you right now, there's a very good chance there's at least a minimum of 0.25% coming off of another 50 basis points between now and May. I can definitely promise you that because, again, there's a lot of talk. They have to. There's also, I'm not sure if you know the stats, but there actually is over 100,000 mortgages coming up for renewal every single month in Canada. That's crazy. And what do they say? Over 80% of all mortgages are actually in Ontario because it's the most populated province of Canada. That's another craziness going on. So you're going to see a lot of people who are going to say, I can't afford this increase. I'm going from an example of 2% interest rate to a 4.5 to a 4.25. Maybe
We're not talking about 6.5 anymore. We're going about 2.5.
So because the fact of that 2% increase of somebody going from 2% to 4 to 4.5, there's going to be a lot of people who can't actually afford their mortgage payments. So they're going to actually downsize, unfortunately. So what that means is going to be a lot of houses possibly coming onto the market around that $800,000 mark. And they're probably going to be actually selling that and then downsizing to a townhouse because they just can't make those payments as well.
It's interesting, these segments of which houses going to go down, which going to be stable, and which going to go a little bit up. But I think this year we're not going to have a huge increase into the prices of the houses, but maybe we're going to see a little bit of a movement in the market.